My name's Mara Kessler, and for 28 years, I've been the invisible daughter in a family that only had eyes for my brother, Ethan, the hotshot lawyer. Last 4th of July, my mom called, demanding I drop everything to plan a barbecue for 30 of Ethan's VIP clients in just 48 hours. I said no, and that one word flipped my world upside down, exposing a truth that left my family and a Silicon Valley bigwig speechless. Want to know how I went from their errand girl to the name on everyone's lips? Stick around. This gets wild. And before we get back to the story, would you be kind enough to give this video a like? You know, every single like means a lot to me. It's the kind of encouragement that keeps me creating and bringing you even better stories tomorrow. I was in my Austin loft, the kind of place with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the skyline that screamed, "I've made it." My laptop glowed on the coffee table, an email from Clara Nguyen, a venture capitalist with Horizon Ventures, front and center. "Mara, your pitch at the TechEd Summit could change the game for Kessler Learning. Don't miss this." My startup, Kessler Learning, was my baby. 4 years of sweat, coding, and late nights building a platform that taught kids STEM through interactive apps. 50 employees, 2 offices, a $5 million valuation, and not a single whisper of it to my family. They didn't know because they never asked. My phone buzzed, the screen flashing Mom. My stomach nodded like it always did when Deborah Kessler called. I set down the navy blazer I was folding and answered. "Mara, cancel whatever you're doing this weekend," Mom said, her voice sharp as a tack. No hello, no how's it going. "Ethan's hosting a 4th of July barbecue for his law firm. Big players, senators' aides, partners, the works. 30 guests. You're handling it. Food, decor, everything. I've got a menu in mind." My fingers tightened around the phone, the plastic creaking. The air in my apartment felt heavy, like the Texas heat was pressing through the walls. "Mom, I've got a work thing. I'm flying out tomorrow." She laughed, that dry, dismissive chuckle that always made me feel 2 feet tall. "Work? Oh, Mara, come on. Ethan's out here keeping the Kessler name golden. You can't be too busy to help family." I glanced at my laptop. Clara's email sat next to my calendar. TechEd Summit Pitch, July 5th, 10 a.m. A $3 million investment was on the line, enough to take my company nationwide. My heart thudded, not from nerves, but from something hotter, something fed up. "I can't, Mom. I'm pitching in San Francisco." "Pitching?" Her voice dripped with skepticism. "What, like some sales job? Mara, this is serious. Ethan needs this to impress his partners. You're good at organizing. Do what you're good at." Good at organizing. That was their story for me, etched in stone since I was a kid. I was 16, standing on a stage in Houston, clutching a debate trophy, my chest swelling with pride. I'd beaten 50 kids from across the state, my arguments sharp enough to cut glass. Mom and Dad were in the audience, but when I walked off stage, Mom grabbed my arm. "Did you hear? Ethan got into law school." Her eyes sparkled for him, not me. Dad patted my shoulder, distracted, already on the phone with Ethan. "Good job, kid," he mumbled, but they were halfway out the door to celebrate my brother's news. My trophy ended up in a box in the garage, next to my old books and dreams they never noticed. That memory burned as I stood in my loft, Mom's voice still buzzing through the phone. "I'll send you some caterers' numbers," I said, keeping my tone flat. "I've got a flight to catch." "Mara, don't be ridiculous," she snapped. "This is family. You owe us 2 days. Be here." My eyes flicked to the plane ticket on my counter. Austin to San Francisco, 6 p.m. tomorrow. Business class, non-refundable. I'd spent years swallowing their demands. Thanksgiving dinners I set up while Ethan schmoozed. Christmas parties where I was the help, while he was the star. Last year, I ran myself ragged for Ethan's promotion party at a Houston country club. 12 hours coordinating vendors, sweat soaking my shirt, while Ethan worked the room in a suit Mom bought. When a guest asked what I did, Mom laughed. Mara's still finding her way, but she's great with logistics. Logistics. That's what they called my life. My phone pinged. A text from Sophia, my college friend who ran a boutique downtown. You got this, Mara. Don't let them dim your shine. Nail that pitch. Sophia knew my family's deal. She'd escaped her own toxic parents years ago. Her words hit like a lifeline, pulling me back from the edge of caving. I looked at the ticket again, then at the email from Clara. My company wasn't just a job. It was my fight, my proof I wasn't the nobody they thought. But as I zipped my suitcase, a question hung in the air, heavy as the Texas humidity. Was I really ready to walk away from them and bet everything on me? My phone pinged as I stood in my Austin loft, the skyline glowing outside my window. The email from Mom popped up, subject line screaming urgency, 4th of July BBQ details. I opened it, and there it was, a spreadsheet, color-coded, meticulous, like she was planning a NASA launch. 30 guests, 5 courses, red, white, and blue napkins, and a note. Mara, this is for Ethan's law firm. Claire and Gwen from Horizon Ventures will be there. Don't mess this up. My jaw tightened. Claire and Gwen? The VC I was pitching to in San Francisco was on Mom's guest list. The irony hit like a punch to the gut. I was supposed to serve her brisket while she held the keys to my $3 million deal. Another ping. Ethan this time, his text dripping with that casual superiority he'd mastered. Mom says you're handling the BBQ. Don't half-ass it, Mara. These are my big dogs, senators' aides, partners, Claire and Wen. Make us look good. Make us look good. Not me. Never me. Just the Kessler name, which meant Ethan in their eyes. I tossed my phone onto the couch, the screen still glowing with his words. My suitcase sat open, half-packed for my flight to San Francisco tomorrow. Kessler Learning's pitch deck was on my laptop, slides polished to perfection, my shot at scaling my company to schools nationwide. But Mom's email and Ethan's text were like chains, trying to yank me back to Houston, back to being their invisible helper. I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under me, and my mind dragged me back to last year. Ethan's promotion party at that swanky Houston country club. I'd spent 12 hours wrangling caterers, my sneakers scuffing the marble floors as I hauled tablecloths and checked name cards. Sweat stung my eyes while Ethan worked the room, all charm and tailored suit. A partner's wife, her pearls glinting, had asked me, "So, Mara, what do you do?" Before I could answer, Mom cut in, laughing. "Oh, Mara's still figuring things out. She's great at pulling events like this together, though." Figuring things out. I'd just closed a $500,000 pilot with a school district that week, but to Mom, I was the girl who folded napkins. Ethan had clapped my shoulder later, smirking. "You're a lifesaver, sis. Stick to what you're good at." The memory burned, my chest tight like I was still standing in that ballroom, invisible. My phone buzzed again. Mom, calling this time. I let it ring twice before picking up, my voice steady but cold. "What's up?" "Mara, I sent the menu. Did you see it?" Her tone was all business, like she was briefing an intern. "This isn't just a party. It's Ethan's chance to lock in major clients. We've sacrificed so much for you kids. Your dad's late nights, my charity work. You owe it to us to make this happen." My hand clenched the phone, the plastic warm against my palm. Sacrificed? They'd poured everything into Ethan. His law school tuition, his car, his renovated guest suite at home. Me? I got a pat on the head and a box of my childhood trophies in the garage. "Mom, I told you, I'm flying out tomorrow. I have a pitch. It's big." "A pitch?" She snorted, the sound cutting like a blade. "Mara, we've supported you through all your little projects. Don't throw this family under the bus for some meeting. Ethan's career keeps us afloat. You want to embarrass us in front of Clara Nguyen?" My eyes flicked to my laptop, Clara's email still open. Nail this pitch, or we move to the next startup. My team, Lena, Raj, 50 others, counted on me. I took a breath, the air tasting like resolve. I'm not coming, Mom. I'll send you caterers. You're being selfish, she hissed. After everything we've done, you'd let your brother fail? You'd let this family look like fools? Her voice rose, each word a jab, trying to guilt me into submission. You live in that tiny apartment scraping by. Don't act like you're too good for us. Scraping by. My loft was 100 square feet, paid for with Kessler Learning's profits. I wanted to scream it. $5 million valuation, 50 employees, schools begging for my app. But she'd never listened before. Why would she now? Goodbye, Mom, I said, hanging up before she could fire back. The silence in my apartment felt heavy, like the moment before a storm. My phone lit up again. Ethan, Mom's pissed. Just do the BBQ. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I ignored it, my hands shaking as I folded a pair of jeans into my suitcase. A knock at the door jolted me. Sophia, my best friend since UT, stood there, her curly hair wild, a bottle of iced coffee in hand. Heard you're dodging family drama, she said, stepping inside, her boots clicking on my hardwood floor. Sophia, you didn't have to come over, I said, but my voice cracked, betraying how much I needed her. She set the coffee down, her eyes sharp. Girl, I know that look. Your mom's trying to chain you to Houston again, isn't she? She flopped onto my couch, kicking her feet up. Let me guess. Ethan's got some big party, and you're supposed to play maid? I nodded, sinking next to her. It's for his law firm. Claire and Gwen's gonna be there, the VC I'm pitching to. Sophia whistled, low and long. That's some cosmic-level irony. You're about to pitch a multi-million-dollar deal, and they want you serving coleslaw? She leaned forward, her voice fierce. Mara, I cut my family off when they tried to keep me small. My dad said my boutique was a cute hobby. Now it's got 2 locations. You built Kessler Learning from nothing. Don't let them drag you back. Her words hit like a spark, igniting something I'd buried under years of family expectations, but doubt crept in, cold and heavy. What if I was burning a bridge I couldn't rebuild? What if Mom was right, and I was being selfish? I stared at my phone, Mom's number glowing like a dare. My finger hovered over the call button, my heart pounding. Maybe I should just talk to her, Sophia. Smooth things over. Sophia grabbed my hand, her grip firm. Mara, you've been smoothing things over your whole life. You're a CEO, not their errand girl. Get on that plane. Show the world who you are. She stood, pulling me up with her. Pack. I'll drive you to the airport tomorrow. My phone buzzed again, Ethan's name flashing. I let it ring, the sound echoing in my loft like a countdown. Sophia's words rang louder, though, drowning out the guilt. My suitcase sat by the door, my ticket to San Francisco tucked inside. As I zipped it shut, Ethan's call went to voicemail, the screen still glowing as I stood at the edge of a choice that could change everything. The hum of the Austin airport faded as I settled into my seat on Flight 782 to San Francisco, the plane's engines rumbling like a promise of freedom. My suitcase was stowed overhead, my laptop bag tucked under the seat, Kessler Learning's pitch deck safe inside. For the first time in years, I wasn't running errands for Mom or playing backup for Ethan's spotlight. I'd chosen me, and the weight of that choice felt like shedding a heavy coat in July. Out the window, Texas stretched below, a patchwork of lights fading into the dusk. Somewhere down there, my family was about to realize I wasn't coming to save their barbecue. My phone, on airplane mode, was silent for the first time all day. No buzzing demands from Mom. No texts from Ethan. I leaned back, the leather seat cool against my neck, and let myself breathe. Freedom tasted like the overpriced coffee I'd grabbed at the gate. Bitter, but bold. Back in Houston, I could picture the chaos unfolding at my parents' house. Mom's probably pacing the kitchen, her heels clicking on the tile, barking orders at nobody. The backyard, usually pristine for their big parties, would be a mess. No table set, no star-spangled napkins, no caterers because I hadn't called them. She'd sent me a flurry of texts before I turned my phone off, each one sharper than the last. At 3 p.m. Mara, where are you? Guests arrive in 4 hours. By 4:30, this isn't a game. You're embarrassing us. Then, at 5:15, her tone shifted, desperate. Please, Mara, we need you. Just get here. I could see her now, flipping through her contacts, probably calling Rudy's BBQ for takeout, her voice tight as she ordered enough brisket and coleslaw to feed 30 VIPs. The thought of Clara Nguyen, my potential investor, walking into that disaster, paper plates instead of Mom's planned linen, takeout ribs instead of a curated menu, almost made me laugh. Almost. My phone, though off, felt like it was burning a hole in my pocket. I could still hear Mom's voice from years ago, sharp and cold, when I was 12 and spilled paint on her new rug. Mara, you're useless sometimes, she'd snapped, her eyes already back on Ethan's report card. That word, useless, stuck like gum to my shoe, following me through every family event where I was the helper, never the hero. But now, 30,000 feet above that life, I wasn't useless. I was Mara Kessler, CEO, with a $5 million company and a pitch that could change everything. That memory didn't sting anymore. It fueled me, like jet fuel pushing this plane forward. A notification pinged on my laptop, pulling me out of my head. An email from Lena, my assistant, sent just before I boarded. Mara, Clara's team confirmed dinner at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Also, I'm freaking out a little. Adoption papers are moving forward, but this deal could seal the financial stability I need for my kid. No pressure. Haha, you've got this. Lena, a single mom-to-be, had been with me since Kessler Learning was just a laptop and a dream. Her faith in me, her stakes in this pitch, hit harder than Mom's guilt trips. I typed a quick reply. Wi-Fi spotty, but working. Lena, we're locking this down. You'll be an amazing mom. I hit send, my chest tight with a mix of pride and responsibility. This wasn't just about me anymore. Back in Houston, the barbecue was probably crashing and burning. I could imagine Ethan in his pressed polo trying to charm a senator's aide while passing out styrofoam plates. Mom's text had painted the picture. Guests are here. We're serving Rudy's on paper plates. Clara Nguyen left after 10 minutes. Another from Ethan. You screwed us, Mara. This is on you. I didn't need to see the backyard to know it was a disaster. Clara, in her tailored blazer, probably wrinkling her nose at the chaos before slipping out to her car. The Kessler name, so precious to Mom, was taking a hit, and I wasn't there to clean it up. For once, their mess wasn't my problem. I opened my pitch deck, the slides glowing in the dim cabin light. Slide 3. Kessler. Learning, empowering the next generation. Numbers I'd memorized. 20 schools using our app, 85% engagement increase, $2 million revenue this year. Tomorrow, I'd face Clara Nguyen, not as the family errand girl, but as the CEO she'd been chasing for a year. My phone, still off, held 20 missed calls from Mom by now, maybe more. Let them call. I was done playing their game. As the plane descended into San Francisco, the city lights sparkling below, I felt a surge of something new, confidence, sharp and unshakable. But as I grabbed my bag, a question lingered. What would Clara say when she saw me, after witnessing my family's train wreck? The San Francisco skyline sparkled through the taxi window as I rolled into the city, the Golden Gate Bridge a faint red smudge in the distance. My phone, still on airplane mode, felt like a ticking bomb in my pocket, probably bursting with missed calls from Mom and Ethan, reeling from their barbecue disaster back in Houston. I pushed the thought aside, the cool leather of the cab seat grounding me. I'd landed in Clara Nguyen's territory now, and tomorrow's pitch for Kessler Learning could lock in $3 million to scale my company. As the taxi pulled up to the hotel, a sleek glass tower overlooking the bay, I felt the weight of what I was chasing. Not just a deal, but proof I wasn't the nobody my family thought. The hotel lobby smelled of eucalyptus and money, all polished marble and soft jazz. A bellhop handed me a bottle of Pinot Noir and a note. "Mara, excited for your pitch. Let's make waves. Clara Nguyen." My heart skipped. Not from nerves, but from the thrill of being seen. Really seen. By someone who mattered in my world. I rode the elevator to my room, the bottle cool in my hand, and dropped my suitcase by the bed. The view was unreal. Lights dancing on the water, the city alive below. For a second, I let myself imagine Clara signing the contract, my team cheering, schools across the country using our STEM app. Then my phone vibrated, pulling me back. A text from Lena, my assistant. "Just got it to SF. Can we meet?" Freaking out a bit, I smiled. Lena was my rock, but this deal was as big for her as it was for me. I met Lena in the hotel's rooftop bar, the air crisp with a salty breeze. She sat at a corner table, her dark hair pulled back, fingers tapping nervously on a glass of sparkling water. "Mara," she said as I slid into the seat. "I'm sorry to drag you out, but this pitch, it's everything." Her voice cracked, and she looked down, twisting her napkin. "The adoption agency's moving fast. They're checking my finances, and if this deal doesn't land, I don't know if I can afford to bring my kid home." I reached across the table, squeezing her hand. "Lena, we've got this. The app's solid. The numbers are tight. Clara's already hyped." But her words hit hard. Lena had been with me since Kessler Learning was just a laptop in my old apartment, coding between coffee runs. She'd bet on me, and now her dream of being a mom hinged on this pitch. "You're gonna be an amazing mom," I said, my voice steady despite the pressure settling on my shoulders. "We're not letting Clara walk away." Lena nodded, her eyes glistening. "I know you'll kill it. Just don't let the stress get to you, okay?" She forced a smile, but I could see the weight she carried. I promised myself then, this wasn't just my fight anymore. As Lena headed to her room, I stepped into the lobby for some air, my mind replaying the pitch deck. That's when I saw him, Jake Thornton, CEO of Advantage, my biggest competitor. He leaned against the concierge desk, all smug grin and tailored blazer, chatting up a hotel staffer like he owned the place. Our eyes locked, and he sauntered over, his loafers clicking on the marble. "Mara Kessler, right?" His voice was smooth, too smooth, like a car salesman sizing up a mark. "Heard you're pitching to Clara tomorrow. Bold move, going up against us." I crossed my arms, keeping my cool. "Jake? Didn't know Advantage was in the running. Your app's still got that glitch, doesn't it?" He laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Fixed it. Our new version's rolling out to 50 schools next month. Clara's eating it up. You sure you're ready for this league?" His smirk said he thought I was small time, a startup scrapping by. I wanted to fire back. Kessler Learning had 20 schools, 85% engagement, $2 million in revenue, but I just smiled. "See you at the summit, Jake." He leaned in, voice low. "Clara plays hardball, Mara. Don't choke." He walked off, leaving a trail of cologne and arrogance. My stomach twisted, not from fear, but from the challenge. Jake's app was flashy, backed by big money, but mine was better. Leaner, smarter, built for kids, not headlines. Still, his words gnawed at me, planting a seed of doubt. What if Clara saw his polish and passed on me? Back in my room, I opened my laptop, the pitch deck glowing in the dark. Slide 7. Why Kessler Learning? I knew the numbers cold. 15,000 students reached, 90% teacher approval. But Jake's taunt echoed. I closed my eyes and another memory hit, sharp as a knife. I was 19, home from college, showing Mom a prototype of my first app, a math game for kids. My voice had been shaky with excitement, explaining how it could help struggling students. She'd barely looked up from her coffee. "That's cute, Mara, but Ethan's interning at a law firm this summer. That's real work." Dad had nodded, distracted, flipping through Ethan's law school brochures. The rejection stung worse than any bug in my code, burying my dream under their indifference. I snapped my laptop shut, my pulse racing. That was then. Now I was 28, a CEO, and Clara Nguyen was waiting to hear me. Jake could talk his game, but I'd built mine from scratch. No family, no safety net. I paced the room, the bay lights flickering outside, and whispered to myself, "You've beaten worse than Jake. You've beaten them." But as I sank onto the bed, my phone still silent in my bag, a question lingered like fog over the bay. Could I really outshine Advantage and keep my family's chaos from dragging me down? The San Francisco night buzzed outside my hotel window, the city's pulse syncing with my own as I headed to the waterfront restaurant for dinner with Clara and Gwen's team. Jake's smug words from the lobby still echoed, "Don't choke," but I shook them off, smoothing my blazer. My pitch deck was locked and loaded, and Lena's text from earlier about her adoption dreams riding on this deal kept my focus razor sharp. I stepped into the restaurant, the air thick with the scent of grilled seafood and clinking glasses. Clara's team was already seated, a sleek group in tailored suits, their laughter cutting through the hum of the crowd. Clara waved me over, her smile warm but sharp, like she was sizing me up. I slid into a chair, my heart steady but my mind racing. Tomorrow's pitch could make or break Kessler Learning. Clara leaned forward, her wineglass catching the candlelight. "Mara, glad you made it. Sorry I'm a bit frazzled. Just flew in from the most ridiculous barbecue in Houston." Her team chuckled, and my stomach twisted. Houston? My family's train wreck. I kept my face neutral, sipping water to hide the jolt. "Oh?" I said, voice calm as glass. "What happened?" Clara rolled her eyes, setting her glass down. "This family, the Kesslers, funny, same last name as you, promised a big 4th of July bash. VIPs, senators' aides, the works. I get there, and it's a mess. No setup, no food, just take out BBQ from Rudy's on paper plates." "Paper plates?" Her team laughed again, and I forced a smile, my fingers tightening around my napkin. The mom, Deborah, was losing it, ranting about her daughter who bailed. Called her lazy, unmotivated, a total letdown. Said she's between jobs and only good for errands. I felt bad for her, whoever she is. My chest burned, each word like a spark on dry grass. Lazy, let down. That was me, in Mom's eyes, served up to Clara like a bad Yelp review. I wanted to blurt out the truth. "I'm that daughter, and I'm here to pitch you $3 million. But I bit my tongue. Not yet. The timing had to be perfect. I nodded, playing along. "Sounds like a disaster. Family can be complicated." Clara snorted. "Complicated? This Deborah woman spent the whole night trashing her kid while her son, some lawyer named Ethan, tried to pitch me legal services over coleslaw. I bolted after 15 minutes. She pulled out her phone, scrolling to a photo. There it was. Mom, red-faced, surrounded by styrofoam containers, Ethan forcing a grin with a plastic fork. My family, crumbling in real time. Before I could respond, a guy across the table piped up, his glasses glinting as he leaned in. "Hey, Mara Kessler, right?" He grinned, all eager energy. "I'm Ryan, Clara's assistant. I saw you at the EdTech Expo last year. Your STEM app demo was unreal. Teachers were losing their minds over it. Heads turned, and Clara raised an eyebrow, impressed. Ryan kept going, oblivious to my racing pulse. You had that booth packed. People were saying Kessler Learning's the next big thing. How's it going now? I smiled, warmth cutting through the tension. Thanks, Ryan. We're at 20 schools, 15,000 students, and growing. Tomorrow's pitch is the next step. His enthusiasm was a lifeline, a reminder I wasn't just the family screw-up. Clara nodded, jotting something on her phone. That's why I'm here, Mara. Your numbers are solid. But scale's the question. Can you take this national? Her tone shifted, probing, like she was testing me. My stomach dropped. Was she doubting me? Jake's words crept back. Clara plays hardball. And for a second, I wondered if she'd already written me off. I pushed the thought down, keeping my voice steady. We're built for scale. Our platform's lean, adaptable, and teachers love it. You'll see tomorrow. Clara smiled, but it was unreadable, like a poker player holding her cards close. My mind flashed to another moment, years ago, when I'd tried to share my dreams. I was 22, home for Thanksgiving, showing Mom and Dad a mock-up of my first STEM app. I'd spent months coding, my eyes bleary from late nights. This could help kids learn math, I'd said, voice bright with hope. Mom barely glanced at it. That's nice, Mara, but Ethan's closing a deal with a Fortune 500 company. Let's focus on the real wins. Dad had just grunted, carving the turkey. That rejection was a knife, twisting deeper than any bug in my code. Now, sitting across from Clara, I felt that old sting, but it didn't break me. It fueled me. I wasn't that kid anymore. Ryan chimed in again, oblivious to the tension. Clara, you should have seen her at that expo. Schools were begging for demos. Mara's legit. His words were a boost, but Clara's question about scale lingered, a shadow of doubt. Should I tell her now? Clear the air about the Kesslers? My family's mess was already in her head, tainting her view. But spilling the truth here, mid-dinner, felt like showing my hand too soon. I needed her to see my pitch first, to know Mara the CEO, not Mara the letdown. I swallowed the urge, my resolve hardening like steel. Tomorrow, I'd let my work speak. $2 million in revenue, 85% engagement, a team that believed in me. If you've ever had to hide your shine, drop a comment. What kept you going? I'd love to hear your story. As the dinner wrapped, Clara raised her glass. To big bets and bigger wins. I clinked my glass, my smile tight, knowing the real bet was tomorrow. Her words about my family echoed in my head, and I wondered, when she learned the truth, would it make her respect me more, or question everything? The San Francisco boardroom buzzed with low chatter as I stepped to the front, my heels clicking on the polished wood floor. Clara Nguyen sat at the head of the table, her tailored blazer crisp, her eyes locked on me like a hawk sizing up its prey. Her team flanked her, laptops open, pens poised. Last night's dinner, her words about my family's barbecue disaster, calling me lazy and a letdown, still burned in my chest, but I pushed it down. This was my moment. Kessler Learning's pitch deck glowed on the projector screen, slide one bold and clear, empowering the next generation. I took a breath, the air tasting of coffee and anticipation, and launched in. Clara, team, Kessler Learning's reached 20 schools, 15,000 students, with an 85% engagement increase. Our STEM app isn't just tech, it's a game changer for kids who need it most. My voice was steady, each word landing like a well-aimed dart. I clicked through slides, numbers rolling off my tongue. $2 million revenue, 90% teacher approval, a scalable platform ready for nationwide rollout. The room leaned in, Clara scribbling notes, her assistant Ryan nodding like he was at a rock concert. I demoed the app live, pulling up a math game on my tablet. A kid's avatar solved equations, animations popping with color. "This is what keeps students hooked," I said, "and teachers are begging for more." Ryan whispered something to Clara and she smiled. A real one, not the poker face from dinner. For a moment, I felt it. The deal was mine. Then the door swung open, and Jake Thornton strutted in, all slick hair and smug grin, his Advantage logo pin glinting like a warning. "Sorry I'm late, Clara," he said, sliding into a seat without breaking eye contact with me. "Had to wrap up a call with our new district partners." My stomach tightened. Jake wasn't scheduled to pitch now. This was my slot. Clara raised an eyebrow but nodded for him to speak. He leaned forward, voice smooth as oil. "Mara's app is cute, but I heard it's got bugs. Teachers in Austin reported crashes during peak use. Advantage, on the other hand, just rolled out a glitch-free update to 50 schools. We're ready to scale now." The room shifted, Clara's pen pausing. Ryan frowned, glancing at me. My heart pounded, Jake's lie hitting like a cheap shot. Crashes? My app had a 99% uptime rate, tested across thousands of users. He was bluffing, banking on my silence to rattle me. I caught Clara's gaze, her eyes narrowing like she was weighing his words. For a second, doubt crept in. Had she bought his story? Was she leaning toward Advantage? My mind flashed to Lena, her adoption papers, the 50 employees counting on me. I couldn't let Jake's smirk win. I stepped forward, tablet in hand, my voice cutting through the tension. "Clara, let me show you what Kessler Learning can do. Live. No rumors." I connected my tablet to the projector, pulling up the app's dashboard. "This is real-time data from a Houston school today. No crashes, 200 students active, 92% engagement." I tapped the screen, launching a live demo. The app ran flawlessly. Equations flying, animations smooth as silk. "We stress-tested this across 10,000 users. Jake's heard rumors? I've got receipts." I swiped to a report, uptime stats glowing. Ryan let out a low whistle, and Clara leaned forward, her poker face cracking into a nod. Jake's grin faltered, but he doubled down, leaning back with a shrug. "Impressive, Mara. But can you scale that to 100 schools by next year? Advantage already has the infrastructure." His tone was all condescension, like I was a kid playing dress-up. Clara's eyes flicked between us, and my chest tightened. She was listening to him, her pen tapping slowly, like she was weighing her options. I opened my mouth to counter, but she raised a hand, cutting me off. "Both of you have strong cases," she said, her voice cool, unreadable. "Mara, your demo's solid. Jake, your reach is notable. But scaling's the question, and I need to see more." She stood, buttoning her blazer. "We'll reconvene tomorrow. I need time to think." The room went still, her words hanging like fog. Think? Clara was supposed to sign today. Her email had said so. Jake shot me a look, his eyes gleaming like he'd already won. Ryan looked confused, whispering to another team member. My pulse raced, the confidence from my demo draining fast. Had Jake's lie planted enough doubt? Was Clara slipping away? I packed my tablet, my hands steady but my mind spinning. As Clara's team filed out, she paused at the door, glancing back at me. "Good work today, Mara. But this is a big bet." Her smile was tight, and then she was gone. I stood alone in the boardroom, the projector screen still glowing with my app's dashboard. Jake's lie, Clara's hesitation. It all felt like a storm closing in. I'd fought my family to get here, but now the fight was bigger, and the stakes weren't just mine. Lena's future, my team's jobs, 15,000 kids, they were all riding on me. As I slung my bag over my shoulder, the question burned. Had I done enough to lock this deal, or was Jake about to steal it out from under me? The boardroom's silence clung to me as I stepped into the San Francisco evening, the bay's salty breeze cutting through the fog in my head. Clara's words, "I need time to think," looped like a bad track, and Jake's smug grin burned behind my eyes. Had his lie about my app's bugs swayed her? My tablet, still warm from the pitch, felt heavier in my bag, like it carried Lena's adoption dreams, my team's jobs, and every kid using Kessler Learning's app. I checked my phone, finally off airplane mode, expecting nothing but family noise. Instead, a notification from Clara Nguyen pinged. "Following you on LinkedIn. Great pitch today." My heart skipped, but before I could process it, another alert hit. Clara had posted something, tagging me. I opened the app, and the world tilted. Clara's LinkedIn post was a gut punch. Just saw an incredible pitch from Mara Kessler of Kessler Learning. Her STEM app is changing lives, 15,000 students, 85% engagement, and ready to scale. Deborah Kessler, you must be proud of your daughter. Attached was a photo from my family's 4th of July barbecue disaster. A blurry shot of Mom, red-faced, surrounded by Rudy's BBQ containers, Ethan forcing a smile with a paper plate. My breath caught. Clara had seen that viral Twitter post from a guest, captioned, "Kessler BBQ flop. Where's the daughter who bailed?" She'd connected the dots. I was the lazy daughter Mom trashed, the one she said was between jobs, and now Clara was calling her out in front of her 50,000 followers. Comments flooded in, piling on like vultures. Ethan's old law school buddy. "Wait, Mara's running a 5 mil member startup? Why's Deborah acting like she's a slacker?" A Houston socialite mom knew. "Deborah, you said Mara was finding herself. This is next level." My phone buzzed nonstop, notifications stacking up like a car crash. Clara's post had 200 likes in 10 minutes, then 500, then 1,000. My name was trending, tied to Kessler Learning, not the family's golden boy, Ethan. For the first time, the world saw me, CEO, innovator, not the errand girl. My chest swelled, like a dam breaking after years of holding back. I'd spent my life in Ethan's shadow, Mom's voice echoing, "You're good at organizing, Mara. Stick to that." Now, Clara's post was a spotlight, and it felt like breathing after being underwater. But the high didn't last. My phone lit up with a voicemail from an unknown number. I played it, and Clara's voice came through, calm, but pointed. "Mara, I just spoke with your mother. I told her about your $3 million pitch, how you're revolutionizing edtech. She was shocked, to say the least. I've been following your work since your expo demo last year. You're the real deal. Let's talk tomorrow." My knees buckled. Clara had called Mom? I could picture Deborah Kessler, phone pressed to her ear, her perfect Houston kitchen spinning as Clara dropped the bomb. Her useless daughter was the CEO she'd dismissed at her own barbecue. I almost laughed, imagining Mom's face, her wine glass frozen mid-sip, but the laugh died fast. Clara knew my family's mess now. Would it change how she saw me? My phone buzzed again, this time a barrage of texts from Houston. "Ethan, you let Clara and Gwen think we're a joke? Fix this, Mara." "Mom, how could you humiliate us like this? Clara called me, saying you're some big shot. You planned this to make us look bad." Another from Mom. "Everyone's talking. You've ruined us." Dad, usually silent, chimed in. "Mara, call your mother. This is a mess." I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Ruined them? I'd only said no to their barbecue, chosen my pitch over their demands. But to them, I'd lit a match and burned their precious Kessler name to the ground. Guilt flickered, but it was drowned out by something stronger. Vindication. Clara saw me, the real me, and the world was starting to, too. I leaned against a street lamp, the San Francisco night alive with honking cabs and clinking glasses from nearby bars. Clara's call to Mom was a plot twist I hadn't seen coming. She'd been tracking my work for a year, not just stumbling across my pitch. That meant she believed in Kessler Learning before she ever saw Mom's barbecue flop. But her LinkedIn post, tagging Mom, had set off a social media firestorm. Ethan's colleagues, Mom's country club friends, they were all chiming in, tearing apart the myth that I was the family letdown. I closed my eyes, letting the moment sink in. For 28 years, I'd been invisible. My dreams laughed off while Ethan got the spotlight. Now, the script had flipped, and it felt like standing on a stage I'd built myself. But as I slipped my phone into my pocket, a new text from Ethan popped up. "You think you've won? This isn't over." My pulse quickened. The deal wasn't signed yet, and Clara's "let's talk tomorrow" hung in the air like a storm cloud. Had I really won her over, or was this just the calm before everything fell apart? The San Francisco night faded behind me as I boarded my flight back to Austin. Clara's LinkedIn post still burning bright in my mind. Her praise for Kessler Learning, the viral photo of Mom's barbecue disaster, and the internet tearing into my family's facade. Ethan's last text, "This isn't over," sat unanswered in my pocket, a dark promise I couldn't shake. I'd expected fallout, but not this fast, not this loud. My phone, no longer on airplane mode, buzzed like a hornet's nest, notifications piling up from Mom, Ethan, even Dad. Back in Austin, I stepped into my loft, the skyline glittering outside, but the glow of Clara's words was dimmed by the storm I knew was coming. By morning, Mom had taken to social media, her post on Facebook a dagger aimed at me. "My daughter Mara has chosen to humiliate our family, abandoning us for her own agenda. We raised her better than this." The words stung, each one a twist of the knife she'd wielded my whole life. But the comments were a bloodbath. A Houston neighbor, "Deborah, Mara's running a $5 million company. What's your deal?" Ethan's paralegal, "Didn't know Mara was a CEO. Why you calling her ungrateful?" A local reporter, "This the same Mara Kessler from the Forbes shortlist?" The post had 300 comments, most ripping Mom apart, her country club crowd turning on her like wolves. Her perfect Kessler image, built on Ethan's law career and her charity luncheons, was crumbling, and I was the one holding the sledgehammer. My office, a sleek space downtown with Kessler Learning's logo on the glass door, felt like a fortress until Mom showed up unannounced. I was reviewing pitch notes when Lena buzzed me. "Mara, your mom's here. She looks intense." I braced myself, the air conditioning chilling my skin as Mom stormed in, her designer purse swinging, eyes blazing. "Mara, how could you?" she snapped, not sitting, her voice echoing off the glass walls. "Clara Nguyen called me, gushing about your revolutionary company. You let her think we're fools! You planned this to make us look small!" I leaned back in my chair, keeping my voice steady. "I didn't plan anything, Mom. I said no to your barbecue. You told Clara I was lazy. That's on you." My hands trembled under the desk, but I held her gaze, refusing to shrink. Her face softened for a split second, tears welling. "Mara, I'm sorry I said that. I was stressed. You're my daughter. I want you to shine." But then her tone shifted, sharp again. "But you humiliated us. Ethan lost a major client yesterday. Some senator's aide who saw Clara's post. My charity board's whispering about replacing me. You could have helped, but you chose to tear us down." The apology stung worse than the accusation, hollow and laced with blame. I wanted to believe her, to feel the warmth of her regret, but it was a trap, the same guilt trip she'd used since I was a kid. My mind flickered to the guilt gnawing at me. Had I gone too far, letting their world implode? But then I remembered Clara's post, Ryan's excitement at dinner, Lena's faith in me. I wasn't the one who'd lied about who I was. "Mom," I said, standing, my voice like steel. "I didn't tear you down. I built something. Kessler Learning, 50 employees. Kids learning STEM. You never asked what I do. You assumed I was nothing. She flinched, clutching her purse like a shield. That's not fair. We've sacrificed everything for you and Ethan. No. I cut her off. You sacrificed for Ethan. I got a pat on the head and a list of chores. I'm done apologizing for choosing myself. Mom's mouth opened, then closed, her eyes darting away. She turned and left without another word, the door clicking shut like a gavel. I sank into my chair, my heart pounding, guilt and pride wrestling inside me. I'd stood my ground, but the cost was real. Mom's world was unraveling, and I felt the weight of it, heavy as a stone. My phone pinged, pulling me back. Ethan's client, a big-shot attorney, had canceled a contract, citing family drama from Clara's post. Mom's charity board had voted her out as chair, the Houston gossip mill churning. Dad, usually silent, texted, "Your mom's a mess. Golf buddies won't stop asking about you." Even his friends were questioning the Kessler myth, their perfect family image shattered. I stared at my laptop, Kessler Learning's logo glowing. I'd won Clara's attention, maybe her money, but my family was paying the price. Had I pushed too far, or was this the reckoning they deserved? As I locked up the office, the Austin skyline stretching before me, another text from Ethan hit. "You've made your point. Let's talk." My stomach nodded. Talk? After everything, what could he possibly say? The deal with Clara was still up in the air, and now my family was circling, ready for a fight. What came next wasn't just about winning. It was about surviving. The Austin skyline glittered outside my office window, but Ethan's text, "Let's talk," sat unanswered on my phone, a lingering storm cloud after Mom's confrontation. Her half-apology, her accusations, the social media fallout, it all swirled in my head as I drove to the Kessler Learning office the next morning. Clara's call was scheduled for 10 a.m., and my team was already buzzing when I walked in, Lena and Raj huddled over a laptop, their faces lit with nervous energy. The air smelled of fresh coffee and whiteboard markers, the hum of our open-plan office alive with purpose. Clara's voice from her voicemail echoed, "You're the real deal." But her hesitation after Jake's sabotage still gnawed at me. Had I done enough to seal the $3 million deal? At 10:05, Clara's face appeared on the Zoom screen, her smile sharp and professional. "Mara, your pitch was stellar. The live demo shut down the noise. We're in. $3 million for Kessler Learning to scale nationwide." The room erupted, Lena letting out a whoop, Raj high-fiving the intern next to him. I grinned, my heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon. "Thank you, Clara. This means everything to us." She nodded, her eyes glinting. "You've got the vision, Mara. And honestly, after that Houston BBQ mess, I'm glad you're not wasting your talent on paper plates." The jab at my family stung, but I laughed, the victory too sweet to care. Jake Thornton's smug face flashed in my mind. His lies about my app's bugs had crashed and burned. This was our win. The team spilled into the break room, popping open sparkling cider, laughter bouncing off the walls. Lena hugged me, her eyes misty. "Mara, I got the call this morning. Adoption papers are cleared. This deal, it's giving me and my kid a future." Her voice cracked, and I squeezed her back, my throat tight. "You're gonna be the best mom, Lena." I looked around at my team, 50 people who'd bet on me when I was just a coder with a $10,000 loan and a dream. This contract wasn't just money. It was their jobs, their families, thousands of kids learning STEM because we didn't give up. For a moment, I let myself feel it. The weight of their trust, the pride of building something real. I wasn't the invisible daughter anymore. I was Mara Kessler, CEO, and no one could take that away. My phone buzzed, pulling me back. A Forbes alert. "Mara Kessler, 28, turns $10,000 loan into $5 EdTech empire. The article dropped like a bomb, detailing how I'd bootstrapped Kessler Learning from a tiny Austin apartment, coding late nights while my family dismissed me as still figuring it out. It quoted Clara. Mara's app is revolutionizing education. My Twitter notifications exploded. 1,000 retweets, teachers praising our app, strangers calling me an inspiration. But the high came with a shadow. Was he an ally or just covering his tracks now that I'd won? The brother who'd texted, "You screwed us after the barbecue," didn't match this confession. I didn't know what to feel. Gratitude, anger, or something messier. Before I could respond, my phone pinged with more texts. Mom. Forbes, you're throwing our name in the mud. Dad. Mara, this is too much. Call us. Another from Mom. Everyone's talking about you. Fix this. Their panic was palpable, their perfect Kessler image shattered by my success. Ethan's admission hung in the air, but so did his earlier threats. I set the phone down, my eyes on the Forbes article glowing on my laptop. I'd won the contract, the headlines, the respect. But my family was spiraling, and Ethan's secret investment left me questioning everything. As Lena's laughter echoed from the break room, a new text from Mom flashed. "We're coming to Austin. We need to talk." My stomach knotted. The victory was mine, but the fight was far from over. The Austin evening hummed with cicadas as I pulled into the parking lot of the Salt Lick, the barbecue joint's smoky scent wafting through my car window. Mom's text from yesterday, "We're coming to Austin. We need to talk," had set my nerves on edge, but the high of Clara's $3 million contract and the Forbes article still thrummed in my veins. Ethan's bombshell about his secret $5,000 investment in Kessler Learning had thrown me, muddying the anger I'd carried for years. Was he an ally or just scrambling to save face? I stepped out, my boots crunching on gravel, and steeled myself. This wasn't just dinner. It was a showdown, and I wasn't the invisible daughter anymore. Inside, the restaurant buzzed with clinking glasses and laughter, but my family's table in the corner was a storm cloud. Mom sat ramrod straight, her pearls gleaming under the low lights. Dad slouched beside her, staring at his beer. Ethan, in a pressed polo, looked up as I approached, his jaw tight. I slid into the booth, the vinyl creaking, and cut to the chase. "I'm here. But if we're doing this, it's on my terms. I want respect, equal respect, not errands or leftovers. And I want real apologies. No games." Mom's lips parted, her eyes softening for a moment. "Mara, I'm sorry," she said, her voice low, almost fragile. "I didn't know about your company, how big it was. I shouldn't have called you. Lazy at that barbecue. I was wrong." Her hands twisted a napkin, and for a second, I felt a flicker of hope, like the mom I'd wanted as a kid was finally here. But then, her tone shifted, sharp as a knife. "But you could have told us, Mara. Instead, you let Clara Nguyen and the whole internet make us look like fools. Was that your plan all along?" The jab landed like a slap, her apology unraveling. I leaned forward, my voice steady but cold. "My plan? I built a $5 million company while you called me good at organizing. You didn't ask, Mom. You never did." My eyes flicked to a worn notebook she'd set on the table, its edges frayed. She caught my glance and hesitated, then slid it toward me. "I kept this," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Your debate awards, your coding camp certificate, that math app you showed me years ago. I saved it all, Mara. I noticed, even if I didn't say it." I opened the notebook, my breath catching. There they were, clippings of my high school debate wins, a photo of me at 19 with my first app prototype, even a post-it note I'd written about STEM for kids. My throat tightened, the pages a shock, like finding a letter you thought was lost forever. Had she cared all along? Or was this another way to pull me back? "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice cracking. "Why let me think I was nothing to you?" Before she could answer, Ethan cut in, his voice low, raw. "Because I was jealous, Mara." I turned, stunned. His eyes were on the table, his hands clenched. "You were always the smart one, building things from nothing. I saw your app at that expo 3 years ago. I invested that $5,000 because I knew you'd make it big, but I couldn't tell Mom. She'd say I was betraying the family by rooting for you. I'm in therapy now, trying to untangle this mess. Our family, it's screwed up, Mara. We put you last, and I'm sorry." His words hit like a freight train, peeling back the golden boy mask I'd hated for years. Jealous? Ethan, the star, envying me? I wanted to believe him, but the memory of his texts, "You screwed us," kept me guarded. Dad, silent until now, cleared his throat. "Mara, I messed up too," he said, his voice gruff. "I stayed quiet, let your mom and Ethan take the lead. I should have seen you, really seen you. I'm proud of what you've built. I'll do better." I leaned back, the weight of their words heavy as the smoke in the air. Mom's notebook, Ethan's confession, Dad's promise. It was more than I'd ever gotten, but Mom's sarcasm tainted it. Was this real, or just damage control after the Forbes article and Clara's post? My phone buzzed. Another text from Mom's friend. "Deborah's out of the charity board. You're the talk of Houston, Mara." Their world was still crumbling, and I felt a pang of guilt, sharp and fleeting. I'd fought for my place, but seeing them unravel hurt more than I expected. "I'm not apologizing for choosing myself," I said, my voice firm, eyes moving from Mom to Ethan to Dad. "You want me in your lives? Prove you mean this. Respect me as Mara, the CEO, not the errand girl. Until then, we're done here." I stood, my heart pounding, the notebook still in my hand. Mom's eyes widened, her mouth opening, but no words came. Ethan looked away, and Dad just nodded, slow and heavy. As I walked out, the restaurant's noise fading behind me, Mom called after me. "Mara, please, we're trying." Her voice cracked, but that bite from earlier lingered, leaving me unsure if they'd ever change. I clutched the notebook, its pages a lifeline to a mother I barely knew, and stepped into the Austin night. The contract was mine. The world was watching, but my family's next move hung in the air like smoke, thick and uncertain. The Austin skyline shimmered outside my loft's floor-to-ceiling windows, a backdrop to the nervous energy buzzing through me as I prepped for the dinner I'd agreed to host. Mom's shaky plea at the Salt Lick, "We're trying," and that frayed notebook of my achievements still sat heavy in my mind, a fragile bridge to a family I wasn't sure I could trust. Ethan's confession about his jealousy, Dad's promise to do better, they'd cracked open a door, but I wasn't ready to walk through without boundaries. Tonight, I'd invited them to my turf, my rules, a dinner at my place, catered by my Kessler learning team, not me slaving in the kitchen. The smell of roasted vegetables and fresh-baked cornbread filled the air, Lena and Raj directing staff with iPads, their laughter cutting through the clink of glassware. The doorbell chimed, and my family stepped in, Mom in her usual pearls, Dad awkward in a blazer, Ethan gripping a bottle of wine like a peace offering. I stood tall, my silk blouse crisp, no apron in sight. "Welcome," I said, gesturing to the dining table, where my team had set up a spread worthy of a 5-star restaurant. Mom's eyes widened, scanning my loft, the sleek furniture, the view, the Kessler Learning logo on a staffer's polo. "Mara, this is impressive," she said, her voice softer than I'd ever heard. I nodded, keeping my guard up. "Thanks. My team's got this handled. Let's eat." As we sat, my phone buzzed with a text from Sophia, my best friend, who'd just arrived. "Here, girl. Let's see if they step up. She slipped in, her curly hair bouncing, and hugged me before taking a seat. Sophia, who'd cut ties with her own toxic family, was my rock, her presence a reminder I could choose who I called family. Over dinner, she leaned in, her voice warm but pointed. Mara's built an empire here. Reminds me of when I started my boutique. My dad called it a hobby, but now it's got 2 locations. You make your own family when the real one doesn't show up. Her words landed like a subtle jab, and Mom shifted uncomfortably, her fork pausing midair. Halfway through the meal, Mom cleared her throat, her face tight. I need to say something. I made a statement at the country club yesterday, publicly. I told everyone I was wrong about you, Mara. I said you're a CEO, a visionary, and I was blind not to see it. Her voice wavered, and I caught Dad's nod, urging her on. My phone, on silent, lit up with notifications. Texts from Houston friends. Your mom's apology is all over the club's newsletter. People are cheering for you, Mara. The community's response was electric. Posts on X praising my rise, some even calling Mom's turnaround iconic. It felt like the city was rewriting the Kessler story, with me at the center. Ethan set down his glass, his eyes meeting mine. I sent your team a legal proposal this morning, he said, his tone professional, not the smug lawyer I knew. Pro bono, for Kessler Learning's expansion. I want to help Mara, not compete. His words carried weight, a nod to his therapy confession about jealousy. I raised an eyebrow, testing him. Why now, Ethan? He sighed. Because you're better at this than I ever was at law. I'm done pretending otherwise. The table went quiet, his honesty a crack in the old family dynamic. Dad, usually a man of few words, spoke up, his voice gruff but warm. Mara, I was at the golf course today. Told my buddies, that's my daughter, the CEO. They couldn't shut up about your Forbes piece. He chuckled, pride flickering in his eyes. I should have said it sooner. I'm sorry. His words hit deep, a first from the man who'd always been a bystander to Mom's script. I leaned back, the cornbread's warmth still on my tongue, and let their words settle. Forgiveness tugged at me, tempting but dangerous. I thought of Sophia's chosen family, Lena's faith, my team's trust. I'd built this life without them, but their apologies, Mom's public, Ethan's offer, Dad's pride, felt like a start. I hear you, I said, my voice steady. But this isn't a reset button. Respect means seeing me as an equal, not a helper. Keep showing up like this, and we'll see where it goes. My words were a line in the sand, a boundary I'd never dared draw before. Sophia squeezed my hand under the table, her smile fierce. Mom nodded, her eyes glassy, but I caught the old flicker of control in her gaze. Could they really change? As the team cleared plates, laughter filling the loft, I felt a fragile hope, but my guard stayed up. The night ended with Dad's awkward hug, Ethan's quiet nod, and Mom's lingering look. As they left, my phone pinged, a new email from Clara about the contract rollout. The future was mine, but would my family's promises hold, or was this just another act in their drama? The Austin air was crisp as I stood in my loft's bathroom, staring into the mirror, my reflection framed by the soft glow of dawn. 6 months had passed since that tense dinner with my family, their apologies and promises still echoing. Mom's public mea culpa, Ethan's legal proposal, Dad's quiet pride. I'd left the door open for them, but I hadn't let them back in, not fully. Tonight, I'd face a bigger stage, a TEDx talk, live-streamed to thousands, where I'd tell the world how Kessler Learning grew from a $10,000 loan to an edtech empire with 80 employees and 3 offices. I smoothed my blazer, whispering to myself, "You're Mara Kessler, CEO, not the errand girl. Not anymore." The words were a shield, built from years of being invisible, now replaced by a truth I owned. My family's drama couldn't touch this. At the TEDx venue, the auditorium buzzed. lights hot on my skin as I stepped on stage. The crowd, teachers, techies, strangers, leaned forward, their eyes locked on me. I built Kessler Learning for kids who feel unseen, I started, my voice steady. Because I know what it's like to be dismissed. I told my story, coding in a cramped apartment, Mom's voice calling me useless, the barbecue I refused to save. The audience laughed, gasped, then cheered as I shared our stats. 20,000 students, 90% engagement, a $3 million deal with Clara Nguyen. My team, watching backstage, whooped when I showed a clip of our STEM app, colors popping as a kid's avatar solved equations. The talk went viral, clips racking up 500,000 views on X by morning, comments flooding in. Mara's story is everything. This is how you break free. Backstage, Lena rushed me, her grin wide, a new locket around her neck with a photo of her adopted daughter, Mia. Mara, I need you to know something, she said, her voice thick. That $3 million deal? It didn't just save my finances, it gave me Mia. I'm a mom because of you. Her eyes glistened, and I hugged her, my throat tight. You earned this, Lena, I said. Later, I called her and Raj into my office, sliding promotion letters across the desk. You're both directors now, I told them. This company's yours as much as mine. Raj, usually all jokes, just nodded, his eyes serious. We're family, Mara. You made that. Their trust hit harder than any contract, a reminder that Kessler Learning wasn't just a business. It was a legacy. My phone pinged as I left the venue, a text from Mom. Saw your TEDx talk. Can we meet? I want to make things right. I stared at it, the words tempting but heavy. She'd apologized at the country club, but her old habits, control, subtle jabs, still lingered in my mind. Ethan's legal work had helped our expansion, and Dad had started calling me my CEO daughter at his golf games, but trust was a slow build. Not yet, I texted back. Keep showing me you've changed, and we'll talk. I hit send, my heart steady. They'd have to earn their way back, step by honest step. As I drove home, the Austin skyline sparkling, I thought about the girl who'd once begged for her family's approval. She was gone, replaced by someone who knew her worth, didn't need their permission. My TEDx talk had ended with a line that echoed now. Your value isn't what others see. It's what you build, who you lift, and how you rise. I'd risen from a $10,000 loan to a company changing lives, from a family's shadow to a stage of my own. Back in my loft, I kicked off my heels, the silence warm and mine. A new email popped up, the subject line stopping me cold. Food Network documentary proposal, Mara Kessler's story. They wanted to film my journey, from the barbecue fallout to the TEDx stage, calling it a masterclass in resilience. My pulse quickened. A new chapter, one I hadn't planned. I set the phone down, the future wide open, a canvas I'd paint myself. If this moved you, like, comment, and share, then subscribe and watch the next story on our channel. What's next for me? Even I don't know, but I'm ready to find out.